In the next few minutes, you are going to discover an automated house flipping software system that quite literally has the power to replace your income if you have a job and hate it, supplement your income if you have a job and love it, give you income if you don't have a job at all, secure your financial future in the face of the worst economic conditions since the Great Depression. In essence, it can turn that frown upside down. This previously top secret software contains the addresses of millions of dirt cheap distressed houses across America, contact info for both the sellers who want to get rid of these houses and the buyers who want to buy them, and most importantly, an automated patented process where you make money playing matchmaker without ever spending a dime of your own money. $2,000, $5,000, even $10,000 checks regularly arriving in your mailbox for making these matches is not uncommon, and you don't even have to talk to anyone. The software talks for you with pre-written messages and scripts via email, fax, mobile, and Skype, and you'll see all this in just 1 minute. On the best part, you're going to get this software for free. Keep watching. If you are unemployed, if you are broke, if you are in between careers, if you are not enjoying your life, if you are struggling to make ends meet, if you are living week to week, if you are having marital problems or stress because of money, if you're hating your job, if you're unable to retire, again, because you're broke, or you just plain old don't know how to make money, then you are in the right place right now. And I'm going to prove that to you very shortly. You stumbled upon a video that is quite literally about to change your life. Keep watching though, because I have to take this video down soon, possibly tonight even. I'll explain why in a minute. Allow me to introduce myself. My name's Preston Ely, and I'm a recovering corporate rat. It's like being an alcoholic, but worse. For 10 years, I spun my wheels in the corporate hamster wheel, only to find myself laid off, broke, and bankrupt. I was at the mercy of the quote-unquote system, and frankly, it chewed me up and spit me out like bad bubble gum. My 401k, almost worthless. Pension? Yeah, right. Social Security? You and I both know where that story ends. I was broke, busted, and disgusted, as they say. I had a stack of bills as tall as the Goldman Sachs building, a mortgage the size of our national debt, and no way to pay for any of it. But I also had my defining moment. You ever have one of those enough is enough moments where determination kicks in like never before, something just kind of clicks in your head and things change for good and forever? Yeah, me neither. Until that day. Within a mere 4 months, I had a check in my hand for $50,000, and I continued on to make over $300,000 that same year. I have not looked back since. And keep in mind, I was raised lower middle class. I never went to college. I barely escaped high school even. I had no money, I had bad credit, and even worse, self-esteem to be quite honest. I simply had my defining moment. I started down my path to financial freedom. I got there at lightning speed, and I've been playing the Pied Piper ever since, going back from whence I came and leading the rats in the rat race out of their cages and into the promised land, the land of the financially free. And in case you didn't know it, being financially independent is awesome. My friends and I work whenever we feel like it. We go wherever we want for as long as we want. We buy what we want. We give what we want. In a word, we are free. No one tells us when to wake up in the morning. No one makes us drive to work every day during rush hour. No one tells us when we're allowed to take a vacation. No one gives us a dress code. I'm wearing a Speedo and a snorkel right now in case you're curious. I think you get the picture. So how did I do it? How did I help all my friends and family do it? How have I helped literally thousands of others do it? And most importantly, how am I about to help you do it? Well, to keep this short and sweet, because I know you're busy spinning your wheel, I did it by becoming a real estate matchmaker. It's like hooking your friend up with a blind date that he ends up marrying, except it's a house, not a human, and you get paid for it. Okay, it's a horrible analogy. Allow me to explain. You're going to love this. A friend of mine who'd been doing something with real estate, as he put it, for a few years, I couldn't help but notice that his cars kept getting nicer, his wrist kept getting sparklier, and his hours of operation kept getting shorter. I'd see him at Starbucks in the morning, then I'd come back in the late afternoon, he'd still be there. Have you been hanging out here all day? I'd ask. Yep, he would reply. I knew absolutely nothing about real estate at the time. I always kind of thought it was just over my head and a game that only rich people could afford to play. But one day I just happened to be talking to my friend at Starbucks, of course, when he mentioned a house that he had for sale for the whopping sum total of $19,000. $19,000, I asked. How much is it worth fixed up? Around $80,000, he responded. It needs a total renovation, though. That's when the light bulb finally went on. I asked him, if I bring you someone who's willing to pay, say, $23,000 for that house, will you pay me $4,000? Of course, he replied. So I called 4 people in my city who I knew were landlords and real estate investors. These people are everywhere right now. And I told them about the house. One of them was thrilled and agreed to pay $23,000 for it that very day, sight unseen. He could not believe the deal that he was getting. Within days, my friend thanked me and handed me a check for $4,000. I hadn't spent a dime to earn it, and it took me about a total of 3 hours. Wow. That was too easy, I thought. Before long, I quit my job and I went on to play real estate matchmaker a couple hundred more times, earning my matchmaking fee of $1,000 to $10,000 each time. Do the math. Now here I am a few years later. I'm rich. I'm about to show you how to do the exact same thing. But first, let me stop and ask you, if you did just one matchmaking deal a month, collecting between $1,000 to $10,000 each time, what would you do with all that extra money? Would you get caught up in your bills and breathe a sigh of relief? Would you get your house out of foreclosure? Would you trade in your junker and buy a new car? Would you quit your job? Would you have your spouse stop nagging you about money? Would you invest it for the future of your family? The fact of the matter is, you can do way more than just one deal a month if you put your mind to it. So you ready? Yes or yes? Yes, you are. Okay, so as easy as this matchmaking process sounds, I've made it even easier for you. I've created a patented web-based software system that quite literally does all the matchmaking for you. I spent over $1 million developing it and continue to spend tens of thousands of dollars a month to maintain, support, and continually upgrade it. I call it Freedomsoft. Inside it is a constantly updated nationwide database containing motivated sellers of dirt cheap houses, cash-rich buyers who want these dirt cheap houses, and the simplest automated process of pairing these people up and profiting from it that you could possibly imagine. There is quite simply nothing in the world like it. Check it out. You're going to get your own login to Freedomsoft, and the first thing you're going to do when you log in is pull up the list of deeply discounted homes for sale in your local area. Now, it doesn't have to be your local area, but that's where I would start if I were you. In most counties, you're going to find hundreds, if not thousands of houses available for you to match right now. Then just pick a house, and it doesn't really matter what the house looks like, but you can see what it looks like instantly if you want. I'll teach you exactly what to look for in these houses to make the most money, because not all the houses are the same. Some will earn you $1,000 matchmaking fees, some will earn you $10,000 matchmaking fees, and I'll teach you how to know the difference. It's really simple. Okay, then once you have your house, you just need to match it up with a buyer. So you'll pull up the list of people who are looking to buy right now in the same area that that house is in. In my local area, you'll see there are literally hundreds of buyers buying right now. And the map will show you the areas they're buying in and the types of houses that they're buying. You may need to contact 3 or 4 of them before you find the perfect match, but you will find it. The software will tell you how much money you're making on each match, and it actually handles all the communication and the paperwork for you by Skype and email. You literally never even have to pick up the phone if you don't want to. So once you have your match, the software keeps you updated daily until the transaction closes and your check arrives in the mail. It's usually about 30 days. There's a bunch of other cool little apps and gadgets inside the software to help you track everything and make the most out of each match, but that's literally the whole system and process in a nutshell. Now, as I said, it did not take long before I quit my job and made real estate matchmaking my full-time business. And I originally created Freedomsoft for my own personal use, basically to simplify, automate, and track the entire matchmaking process. It was my own top secret, unfair advantage in my local market of Tampa, Florida. But then somehow, the cat got out of the bag. Stupid cat. My friends started asking for it. My family started asking for it. The students I was mentoring started asking for it. People I didn't even know were asking me for it. And I told them all the same thing. No way. I didn't want to give up my massive unfair advantage. But then one day my mentor sat me down. He said, you know what, Preston, there are millions of these matchmaking type deals out there right now. I don't really think it would hurt your business one little bit by sharing this with a few people. In fact, he said, you'd be helping out the middle class who are desperately hurting. You'd help improve the economy, and heck, you could make yourself a little bit of money on the side as well. So I thought about it. I meditated on it. I prayed about it. I lit a fire and did a tribal dance around it. And on January 21st, 2010,